in my family, because we try to rebel at any mask requirement whatsoever. We stopped going to the store for a while and lived on our food storage because of this darn mask policy until I found a store that wasn't enforcing it. And so you want to send a message to people. You don't want to go in and comply. You want to make them comply if you have to. Like in Walmart, most of the time they'll let me go through. In our rural, they won't, and they're more ruthless in the big metropolitan areas. And Costco's the worst about mandating. But you go into Walmart, and most of the time I'll always test them without a mask. You want a mask, sir? No, thanks. I'm healthy. I'm not a danger to anybody, and I walk on by. One time they stopped and said, you have to go in mask again, so I put it on, and I immediately took it off as soon as I got through the door. Nobody said a thing. So push the boundaries as much as you can. Don't acquiesce. Make them show that you are opposing this policy. Say, I'm healthy. I am not a threat to anybody. And then they'll say, well, the governor's issued a mandate. And you say, no. That mandate is illegal because the legislature refused to extend it. So his emergency powers are now illegal, and there's a court case pending about that. And so they roll their eyes when you say something like this. Well, this is the thing that you need to understand, is that you need to prepare to become self-sufficient from the establishment. And you need to start now. You need to start to pull out of those things. And, my family, we've gone to a family farm in a rural part of the state where we start to grow our own food. We start to get into animals and other things. We start to really and it's taken us 3 years to get up to speed. And farming is not rocket science, but you need experience. You make mistakes and animals die and crops fail and other things. So it's not as rocket science, but it's really beneficial, and the lifestyle is wonderful. Now, not everybody can do that, but I can tell you can store food. You can learn how to use the things properly. You can start to do things, but you've got to get ready to stop flying. I'm pretty sure that internationally they're going to have a mandate against flying internationally with a vaccine, so that's going to be foreclosed. I don't think it'll happen domestically initially, but eventually it probably will. So any of you who are young enough to get a pilot's license, like I have, get one. Learn to fly, because you can bypass that. Fly out of an uncontrolled airport. There's no tower to tell you can take off without a vaccine. You can fly and be free. If it comes to mandating driver's licenses, that's going to be a thing. I think I'm just going to violate the law. I'm just going to drive and be careful and not get caught. But you just have to start to buck these things and be willing to go to court over the thing and start to push the boundaries on these things. But boy, when you can't hold a job at a major corporation anymore and you start losing your job, so be prepared, because when this war is coming, and the war is on the road, it's coming in the latter half of this decade, in my opinion. I think that's when Russia and China will be ready to strike. That's one of the reasons they're prepping you for martial law, because real martial law comes when war comes. And you think the coronavirus restrictions are bad. You wait till the Russians and Chinese strike U.S. military targets and throw an EMP strike at this nation, which takes down the whole grid, all in one fell swoop, and you don't have any electricity for 6 months. I mean, that's real bad stuff, especially if you're in a major city. You think you may be safe within Mormondom because people have food storage, but it's not true. I think less than probably 2% of the members have a full year's supply, and probably less than 10% have any significant storage past a couple of weeks alone. So they're going to be, in trouble as well.